welcome back to the In Wheel Time Car Show. So glad that you can join us. My dog is over here and trying to make a nest as to where she needs to sleep or take a nap, and she unplugged the light. But you know, that's just what she does for a living. But anyway, thanks for joining us on today's In Wheel Time Car Show. We're live down there at the Woody's Waterfront Car Show at the Topwater Grill in San Leon, Texas. But right now, what we're going to do is Conrad's going to have his car clinic, and today talking about belts or belt if it's a Serpentine. Oh, sorry. Here, there you go.
If you give me my mic, yeah.
I know, I'm sorry.
It's a matter of checking your belts, and it's something you can do quite easily is pop the hood and check your belts. Now, when you talk about some of the older cars, you have what's called a V belt. So it's one belt drives one pulley on the car, and it's all driven off the crankshaft. But most cars since about the late 80s, early 90s have one belt that does everything. So it's a Serpentine belt. The older cars, I've got 3 belts on my Cutlass because one drives power steering, one drives water pump, and one drives AC.
Yep.
So the newer cars, which is predominantly what you're going to be looking at, all have Serpentine belts at. So that one belt drives all of the components under the hood: water pump, power steering, air conditioning, and if it's got any emissions control items on it that are driven by it as well, it will drive those. So you want to check that belt, and what you're looking for on that belt is the tension, and on the tension, it's just a matter of kind of feeling it a little bit, pushing on it and see if it's tight, see if it's, as long as it doesn't have a lot of slop in it. But one of the things you can do is you can look at the tensioner on that. So in there's kind of a spring-loaded wheel that pushes on the belt to keep the correct tension on it. Well, on that spring-load, on the arm of the spring-loaded wheel is a mark. And then on the body of the tensioner is another mark, and that mark needs to align. Those 2 marks need to align together, because when the one mark on the arm gets outside of the mark on the tensioner, it tells you that the belt is stretched so much that the tensioner can't keep it tight anymore, and it's time to replace that belt. Most people are going to tell you to replace that Serpentine belt in the 60 to 100,000 mile range. Pretty simple to do. All cars under the hood have a road map of how that belt goes back on. And in most cases, you can do it with a big, long wrench. Loosen the tensioner up, take the belt off, put the new belt on, and away you go. Check your Serpentine belt, because if it fails, you're going to get towed in.
You are. And
because you're going to lose air conditioning, you're going to lose power steering, and you can lose the water pump.
Don't some of the belts, these Serpentine belts also, some of them drive the camshaft?
Not the Serpentine belt. There are belts, but those are inside the engine that drive the camshafts.
Okay. All right. Well, I just wanted to clarify that.
Okay.
All right.
Top of the hour.
It is the top of the hour. Stay with us. From Studio A in Texas, USA, it's the award-winning In Wheel Time Car Show today, live from Woody's Waterfront Car Show at the Topwater Grill in San Leon, Texas, in Galveston Bay. Mr. Mars, David Ainsley down there. We'll go to them here in just a second. Inside our new car showroom this hour, Mr. Mars is going to do the Cadillac CT4. We'll give you an in-depth review of that. Plus, we'll have This Week in Automotive History and the stories making auto news headlines. All that just ahead on today's In Wheel Time Car Show for Saturday, September 26th, 2020. We thank you so much for joining us today, along with Mike Out of This World Mars down there at San Leon, Texas.
Topwater Grill.
Yep. Topwater Grill. And David Ainsley down there. Jeff Zekin sitting over here. Mr. Conrad DeLong sitting there, or King Conrad DeLong, as we like to refer to him. King Conrad. I'm Don Armstrong. Glad you could join us today. It is quite a beautiful day for a car show. And y'all guys want to take another look down there?
Let's take a peek and see.
Okay. All right. So
they're showing us a '65 Mustang. It says 289 on the fender there, and very well done. Lots of chrome. on the car, set of aftermarket custom wheels. Love the striping on it. And the two-tone interior, which is not factory, but the two-tone interior looks real good on this car. The low back, which is very typical of the 60s cars with the low back bucket seats. It wasn't until later in the late 60s and 70s where the bucket seats went with a high back.
Did they actually offer a center console in those early Mustangs? Because the ones
that
I
did, but not that one.
Yeah, not that big.
I understand.
Would this be considered a resto mod?
Yes. Yeah, I would call that a resto
Oh,
mod.
look at
I think
that.
most of these are.
Yeah, look at that.
So
that's what is that, a 70 Malibu or so?
If I can look at the headlights, I can tell you kind of what year it is.
Kathy would love that.
That's probably a 71 or a 72, and I can't tell the difference between the two of them.
Listen
but
to
I know
marker lights.
when they have two lights, it's a 71 or 72, and it's got 4 quad headlights. It's a 70, and it's also got a big block in it with headers and stuff on it. No air conditioning, so that's got to be a winter-only driver. Power brakes, and I believe it by this time discs were standard on it. And this is a 71 Chevelle. And I'm assuming, because he says 71 Chevelle, that this is a tribute car of an SS.
Right.
But look at the seats and
Nice.
the 4-speed in that thing.
Corbeau
I bet you
seats
got to
or something?
hold. Yeah.
Cobra or Recaro?
Don't get me going. But you got to hold on tight with a big block to jump on that thing. And the interior's well finished out. Got some big subwoofers, so you can
Rattle the license plate.
There you go.
rattle the windows on it as well. Okay, now you're going to lose me completely because I am not very good at.
We'll have
at
to
the
see.
old,
We'll have to see the window placard on this one to find out exactly what it is. It
Did you
looks
see the
like
way
a
the exhaust
model.
system came through the back?
Yeah, I
of it?
see that.
It's a Model A of some
And
sort.
a small block Chevy, and I'm not real sure even if it is a. So it's a Chevy Coupe.
31.
31.
Okay, so how unusual, because so many people do the Fords back then, and this one being a Chevrolet itself is a rare breed.
Now, is this
of that.
over the rail?
Yeah. And look at the old school. I'm assuming that's the blinker turn signal up there on top. How old school is that?
Yeah.
Is that what that is? That's the turn signal indicator?
Yeah, I believe so. Well,
Looks
that's
like-
the selector, the turn signal.
It's from like
turning
an
left
old
and
truck
turning-
almost.
Right.
That's
And-
neat.
And you can see the modern touches inside the interior, but you can also see the nostalgic touches inside the interior. And those seats probably
Like a Corvette
Yeah, I was
seats.
going to say probably taken out of a production vehicle and set and reskinned and set in there, but the seats look gorgeous. And again, I'm just a huge fan of blood red interiors on vehicles. I think it really sets off a show car to have that. And then here we go with the C3 Corvette. And I'm going to call that Daytona Sunset Orange Metallic with the two-tone interior on it as well.
See, I would just call it orange.
Yeah, well, I know, but it's Corvette.
Is it a 75? Don't really know.
I
And it's certainly not a stock
No, it is
motor.
a 75. Good call, Don.
Nice.
Good call.
Well, he was in that.
And then, again, a
I've been
small
around the block a time or
with,
two.
with air conditioning on it. And that's not factory air conditioning compressor, but it's got the AC on it. And, again, gorgeous car. Actually quite well done. And 75, when you look at the front bumper on that, that was when they went with the 5-mile-an-hour bumper, so they put that plastic cover and stuff on it.
Terrible.
Urethane.
You didn't like it?
Oh,
you,
my
you
God,
like the
what a
old Nerf bars? Of
No,
the
not necessarily.
pre-gens?
I mean, I appreciate that, but those bumpers were terrible. If you wanted to do that car and actually paint it and actually show it, the only way to really do it is to go with a plastic bumper, a hard plastic bumper.
I had a
here we
car
go.
painted like that, and they had to put a chemical into the paint
Yeah,
to adhere
to
the
make
rubber.
it flexible.
Yep.
To make it flexible.
Yep.
So here we have a big block Corvette C3, and it is a 66.
425 horsepower, 427.
Yeah. Is it?
Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, that's another hold-on tight car because the engine went faster than the brakes could stop it, even though they were race cars. And, that does have the factory, or I don't know if it's factory, but that does have the cowl induction because you can see the air, the foam for the air breather coming from the hood and stuff.
Yep.
And quite modified when you look at it as well. Not only the headers and the integral alternator. Again, I'm a huge fan of the side pipes on cars, and the knockoff wheels. Though I don't think those are real knockoffs. I think it's 66. The
It's a
knockoff has gone
Roadster
away.
with a 4-speed.
It's the way to live.
Well, yeah, but I mean, knockoff wheels too. Oh my God! Well, the wheels alone are worth thousands of dollars.
I think by this time those weren't true knockoffs. But there was a knockoff where all you did is you beat that propeller on the wheel to get them off. Now there's actually
propeller.
Did you see where the seat belts were on the console? They were like a suggestion.
Yeah, well, they have they have like a little sling for them to fit in. A suggestion.
See?
Yeah. Well, yeah, in a big block and a 4-speed, I think you want to wear and a convertible, I think you want to wear the seatbelts. And it's got the all wood steering wheel as well. And then we looked at that, though. Yeah, we looked at the white one a little bit before.
Well, let's go back there.
And how customized it is. The louvered hood, the louvers on the side.
But the front end of that is the
key. Yeah,
is the draw.
Looks the whole like grill and stuff that they put on.
The Mako shark look.
Exactly.
Very Mako-ish, and you can see the headlights behind it because this does not have the pop-up headlights, so they run the headlights through the grill on this. But actually, kind of a cool little car.
Just look at how the fender wells are expanded.
A little bit flared out.
Yep.
And no hood open, so we're not real sure what size the engine is. But again, who doesn't like a C3 Corvette convertible? Everybody likes it, small block, big block, it doesn't matter. I'd probably take one with a 4-cylinder in it just because it looked cool to drive. Any of the C3s are. And then here we have so this one's a little bit more of a race car. He's got the Hoosier race tires, and again, the side pipes on it. He has the Stinger, what's called a Stinger hood on it, and it says 64.
Which
64 wouldn't have been an original Stinger hood, but I'm sure he's using this to try and get a little air into the engine. And I'm going to say that is probably a full boogie track car. That this car does spend some time at the track. As you can see how the cage is that's in there, that it is actually a true 6-point cage, and the disconnect for the battery right there on the edge. And I imagine that hood scoop is functional on this one, trying to get some air into the engine, where on the production ones, the hood scoop was as well functional, but this one's probably just trying to push air in. So you can see I'm assuming that's a transmission cooler sitting right there.
That's a race car.
That is pure race car. That is track capable.
Do you have one of those on your truck where it says tow?
Yeah, it needs to say tow.
Well, we need to get you some stickers.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Tow here, tow here, push here, tow here.
Except for you, I think we'd change the name to TOE instead of TOW.
And then, 65, 66.
I was never a big fan of that model year with the
60. I was right.
With the turn 65, with the turn signals indicators up there on the top of the hood. Never was a big fan of that, but. The truck there is cool.
Yeah.
Can you imagine how?
And they have become, you think about these back then, they were just work trucks. Now they've become the collectible trucks, and people are doing this kind of work to them.
Can you imagine how hard it is to find that hood with those lights in it?
That isn't damaged, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
And then, of course, it's got to be lowered and bagged and all of the fancy stuff. It's not got doesn't have a big notch. Gunship Racing.
Oh.
That's got to be a Texas thing. Oh, yep. Look at the in-wheel time machine here.
Look at that.
That's Mr. Mars in-wheel time machine.
Recently purchased. I don't think that's more than about a little over a year old.
Oh, it's more than that.
Uh-oh. Stop. Let's talk to the owner.
Oh, no.
442, 70. I'd have to look at the
I think we're losing the signal.
71, 72. Slide in. So it's a gold engine, which means it's a 350. Now, Oldsmobiles back then, the color of the engine designated the size of the engine because they were all pretty much looked the same. Gold was a 350, bronze was a 400, red would have been a 425, and then later I think the reds were or the 425s were kind of a dark.
What was it?
455, and the 455 would have been a metallic blue.
Right.
And front disc brakes.
Have you seen this car before?
No, I haven't seen this one. For me, anything with a yellow car. Now, he's got upgraded seats and stuff in it with velour. I bet you that's better in the heat of the summer. And
That steering wheel was in that Corvette, the same one, because I had one in my Olds.
That is the somebody will tell you it's like an N41. That is a factory steering wheel.
Right,
that was an option, but it was standard on 442. Oh,
right.
did it really?
Yeah.
Yeah. And back then, that was quite a unique wheel for the market. And if you slide around the back and let me see the taillights, I can tell you exactly what year it is.
They show you all the parts in the trunk.
It is a 72 because it's got the separated taillights on it. Hey, they got junk in the trunk too.
But it's not like yours.
Oh, mine is piled to the top. I almost got to jump up and down.
Why would you tell people that? Why would you admit to that?
I called him out on it.
Well, it's also because that's where I hide all the stuff I bought.
You
for
keep
the car.
saying that he hides it from Angela. He doesn't hide
she's listening
anything.
to the show.
He doesn't hide anything from her. It's just an excuse for him to put all of his crap back there.
Yep. Oh, and look, a 75, 76
yeah.
Chevy Impala.
Nice.
That is a land yacht. That thing.
Ball
I think the headlights.
Shot caller.
Knew you were
20-inch blades on my Impala.
The headlights are in a different zip code than the taillights in this car. And it's a coupe, Cool car.
Yeah.
But, boy, I'll tell you, that is a land yacht.
It's a unique color, too.
I always like those big two-door coupes like that.
Oh, yeah.
And then after a period of time, the doors sag, and you got to get the doors adjusted,
Absolutely.
shimmed up.
Well, there was actually a little brass bushings in the
grommet or whatever.
grommet inside the door hinges that you could replace on them. And then I'm assuming 65, 64 and a half, 65
A
Mustang.
lot of convertibles down there today.
Well, it's a nice day.
And that's pretty much a pure. There's the factory. That's the factory. That's most of the factory console. Looked like it had cup holders on top of it, but pure. Is that 289 or does it say 260? 289. Oh, it's a hypo as well. So they offered a couple of different V8 engines back in the first generation of Mustangs, and the 289 hypo was one of them. So a little bit more performance out of it, and gorgeous car.
Let's take a break here real quick, and we'll be right back with more from Woody's Waterfront car show down there at the Top Water Grill in San Leon. Stay with us.
Are you one of those people who thinks it's okay to drive stoned? I mean, what's the worst that can happen? You end up driving below the speed limit? It's no big deal, right? Wrong. The truth is, your reaction times slow way down when you're high. You not only put yourself in danger, but everyone around you. Talk about a buzzkill. Stop kidding yourself. It's not okay to drive high. If you've been using marijuana in any form, do not get behind the wheel. If you feel different, you drive different. Drive high, get a DUI. Paid for by NHTSA.
A social distancing tip.
While the CDC urges you to avoid close contact, like hugging or shaking hands, there are other non-physical ways to say hello. Wave, wink, use sign language, salute, smile, give the peace sign, throw up an air high five, do jazz hands. Remember, stay a minimum of 6 feet or 2 arms length away from others and stay home if you can. For more info, visit coronavirus.gov.
Let's all do our part because we're all #AloneTogether. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Welcome back to the In Wheel Time Car Show here on this beautiful, gorgeous Saturday in Texas. And we're going to go back to the Top Water Grill and Woody's Waterfront Car Show here in just a second. We do have some, what do you got, events?
Yeah, national events.
Yeah.
And Woody's Top Water Grill is, I'm going to say that's becoming a national event.
Right,
it's part of the In Wheel Time Nation, at least.
That's right.
This weekend is Good Guys at Lone Star Nationals up in Fort Worth, Texas at the racetrack. That is a huge event that's going to have probably 600-700 street rods at it, and that's started yesterday and it goes through Sunday. And again, Mustang Fest in Corpus Christi is October 2nd, which is be next weekend, and then November 21st through the 22nd is the Muscle Car and Corvette Nationals in Rosemont, Illinois. Have you heard what's going on with SEMA? Are they going to do SEMA this year? Is SEMA going to be off?
I don't think SEMA is going to happen. I think that because October would be it, and
right.
I just don't see that happening.
And then Long Beach, California is the Japanese Classic Car Show, so the Japanese domestic market, those JDM cars, quite collectible vehicles in themselves, and California, Southern California is kind of the world for it. So if you're into that generation of Japanese domestic market cars, that show in Long Beach is definitely going to be the one to go to. The Houston Exotic Auto Festival is going to be down here, and that's going to be November 8th,
Where's
Sunday. I believe that is going to be over at, what's the name of that whole complex there?
Highland Village?
No, it's Beltway 8 and Memorial.
Beltway 8 and Memorial.
City Center?
City Center. So, and that's always a good show. The National Dub Show Tour is going to be in Dallas.
Awesome.
He's going to be in Dallas on November 22nd.
You going to go to that, Jeff?
No.
You're going to go to that, aren't you?
Maybe.
You're lying because you said you're going to go.
The international car shows, those are kind of all on pause as well. So the LA show, I know it's got on schedule, but I don't know if it's going to go off or not because with COVID.
Well, did we tell everybody about this year's Autorama is canceled?
Correct. This year's Autorama was canceled, and they're going to rerun it. We'll run it again next year. And again, this is all COVID related. Why they're slowing
basically
stuff down.
most of the indoor stuff that I am aware of has been canceled.
Indoor with more than 10 people.
At least through the 1st of January. And we have not heard yet from the Houston Auto Dealers Association and the Houston Auto Show, which is typically in March.
January.
January. We don't know whether that's going to be canceled, but my guess is it will be because it's an indoor show.
And then Formula One, the Russian Grand Prix is this weekend. The Grand Prix of Indianapolis, running the road course, is going to be next weekend. The Indy cars. NASCAR is going to be in Las Vegas tomorrow. They're going to be in Talladega next week. IMSA this weekend is at the Mid-Ohio Road Course. And then NHRA is Gator Nationals are going on right now. Go, Erica. Drive that back. Oh, I don't know if am I allowed
Drive that bee back.
Am I allowed to say that?
Bleep.
And then they come to Dallas on the 18th of October, and then the next weekend they come to Houston on the 25th.
Yeah.
So lots of.
And
cool
I don't
stuff
know
going
what the restrictions are on getting tickets to go to the Houston race. I think that you'll have to go to NHRA.com
and read the rules.
Or HoustonRacewayPark.com. And find out. I think you somehow have to be some sort of an NHRA member. And speaking of NHRA, I read this week that Coca-Cola, makers of Mellow Yellow, have pulled out of NHRA as the title sponsor.
Youch, that's going to be painful.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's going to be extremely painful.
And that there's been some sort of lawsuit now.
Oh, really?
Between NHRA has sued Coca-Cola. It's an ugly thing.
Did not know about that.
Well, I think COVID's just having its effect on everybody, you know.
And that was the motto. That was the genre. Leave on yellow or
Yep.
Yeah,
leave on yellow. And Erica's going to be racing this weekend.
Go on yellow. Yeah, well,
it's okay.
No wonder they're being sued.
All right, we're going to take another break, and we're going to go back down to Woody's in just a sec.
911, what's your emergency?
God, there's a train that just hit a car.
Sir, what is your location? Look around for a street sign, sir.
It's 8th and Orchard. 8th and Orchard.
Okay, very good. 8th and Orchard. Sir, help is on the way.
Why would he do that? The train still doesn't stop. You have to get there now.
At a railway crossing, even if the engineer sees you and hits the brakes, it can take a mile for the train to stop. And for you, that's too late. Stop. Trains can't. Paid for by NHTSA.
Advance Auto Parts and CarQuest present the Gary Merrill Memorial Pro Modified Race with a purse-busting $7,000 to the winner. Saturday night, September 26th at Houston Motorsports Park. Gates open at 5. The commemorative Air Force flyover and racing at 6. Wear your mask. We've got social distancing and sanitizer. Enjoy dollar hot dogs and dollar beer. Advance tickets online at NASCARHouston.com. Saturday night, September 26th. Gates at 5. Racing at 6. Houston Motorsports Park. The $7,000 Gary Merrill Pro Modified Race. Bring the kids.
And by the way, if you didn't catch that race is tonight at 6 o'clock. Yeah.
Are you going to be the pace car again?
Yeah. I share pace car duties with a guy named Jay. He's in the Corvette Club.
You know, I rode with Don in the pace car duty, and it's unique. It's different.
Scary?
Well, not really scary, but it's intimidating. when all these big monster cars are coming up behind you.
And you're in the way.
And you got your head hanging out the window trying to shoot a video. Yeah, it can be a little intimidating.
It was fun. Okay, well, let's head back down to Woody's Waterfront Car Show down at Top Water Grill in San Leon, Texas. And because we're having some audio issues down there today, Conrad's been kind of doing the play-by-play.
So this is a 32 Model A. I believe it's a Model A, and I'm not real sure what the open roof is called. I don't think that's a Tudor, but you can see it's got a small block Chevrolet in it. But
no, it's a Tudor. It's 2 doors.
Two doors.
It's a Tudor.
But how cool is that? And an very upgraded interior in it. That all of that wasn't there. But look at the way the cloth roof comes off as a convertible.
That's neat.
But it still stays with the window frames and stuff. A lot of real detail work in that for the wood and the window frames and stuff. How chromed out the convertible top piece is. Yeah, that's a gorgeous car.
That is. That's nice.
Very, very well done. And
Texas plate.
And again, if they'll show me the front, usually they have a license plate that tells me what.
I don't think that one had.
Again,
it just said Texas.
It's another 32 Ford Highboy. But it might be a different year. And this was kind of the car that lit hot rodding up back in the 50s.
Yep.
Is they took those older Fords, they took the fenders off of them, put a big engine in them.
That one doesn't look like it's channeled.
No, and this is the ZZ430, so that's a crate motor from Chevrolet that fits right inside that they'll plug in there, and everything kind of comes plug and play on it. What a neat color. I'm assuming that's kind of for lack of a better phrase, and probably the owner of it's going to get mad at me. I'm going to call it Battleship Gray.
No, it's more of a green.
Is it green?
That's a tint green to me.
Oh, I'm colorblind anyhow.
It could be. To me, it looks green.
But what a classic street rod this is, with fenderless, with the big fat tires in the back, and it's all engine, and very lightweight as well. And 32, hey! I was there, 32 Ford Highboy. I got another one right. And then it's sister car with the roof on it.
There you go.
The difference between the two of them. And again, when you look at this fender off look was the style of the day of the 50s hot rods. So that nostalgic style has kind of hung out there for a long time. Interesting way. It looks like they have a Pinto gas tank on it.
No, the other one had that too.
The Pinto is right there in the back. The gas tank is right included in the back bumper.
Oh, I got you.
Exploder gas tank.
Well, no, this has got a frame around it, so you're good.
Well, it was better than the Pinto.
Yeah, not a problem.
Oh, don't be touching the guy's car. I'd kill you. But again, what a beautiful car. Look at the interior. Oh, now this has got a burgundy interior.
Nice.
Really race seats and a cage.
Yeah.
And very, very well done. I like that. That is cool. And I'm assuming, I don't know, maybe this is more gray, where the one you showed had the first one was a little greener.
Me, what color do you think? To me, it looked green. The other one looked green.
The other one, yeah. Well, when you look at it across the hood, there is a green to this one, where this one is maybe a little more battleship gray. And, all of this car could be steel or it could be plastic. And then, of course, the 6th-gen Camaros. Interesting C6 Corvette. Interesting hood on it there.
Yeah.
That's not a factory hood on it, but as well with the purple center stripe on it. And is that another Myers Manx there next to it? Again, I don't know enough. Now this one looks to be truly on a Volkswagen. On a Volkswagen. My Tutu. Don't mess with my Tutu. Hey, Don, this car is for you.
That's the in-wheel time ride now. And it's red. Matches your pumps.
Yeah. Those Myers Manx back from the 60s, the original ones, are worth a fortune.
Yes.
And back in the day, there was no big deal. I mean, people had them. It was just basically a fiberglass tub that just sat on the top of a Volkswagen chassis, Beetle chassis.
Well, it was a West Coast thing, wasn't it? Mainly West Coast.
Well, that's where it originated from, but there are lots of them here.
And this one looks to be, unlike the previous one, this one looks to be a body on a Volkswagen chassis. And how cool is that? How nicely done engine on that.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't take a lot of engine to make those a lot of fun. the reason they went with the Volkswagen engine because they were air-cooled and you didn't have to worry about damaging radiator while you're out there on the beach.
Well, not only that, but also the weight distribution of that thing, because this thing was known to fly over once in a while some of the sand dunes.
All right. Look at that.
Well, what's interesting on that, if you notice, that's a V6. That is not a V8. That is a V6.
You can tell by the header pipes.
Right.
And it's got cutouts on it.
Yeah.
And it's a 26 Ford Model T. Beautiful car as well. And look at the variety of cars that are coming down to Woody's, from the 32 Fords to the highly customized
Pro mods.
And
late model,
the nostalgic street rods with the high boy that we saw just there.
There are a lot of cars. I would say the majority of the cars I've never seen before at any of these cruise-ins or car shows.
People are bringing their mannequins down.
I'm going to call this Accord, but I don't know if this is or not. Yeah, it is.
That's a good call.
That's a coffin nose Accord. Now look at this car. And think of the innovation that is in this car.
Back in the day.
So this is probably a late 30s Accord. Hideaway headlights, which was a unique thing. It was also front-wheel drive, and you could have, and I don't know, I think with the outside pipes on it would have been a supercharged car as well.
36.
So 36 Accord.
Westchester.
And how awesome is that? I didn't realize they did pop-up windows on it as well. So that was the way you air conditioned the cars. You lifted the window up and let some air through.
I'd like to know
doors.
What something like that is worth.
Oh,
well, this one's a little modified because that's not a factory interior. You can see he's got air conditioning in it. Those are not factory seats. But how cool is it to have a street rod 36 Accord, which means that it's got the look of a cool, older, classic car, but the power and performance of a new car.
Should be a mod.
Yeah. And then look at the way the hood pops open on this.
What year is the crane?
I don't know. But Yankee Doodle, everybody stand and salute the flag.
There you go.
And the Texas flag as well. Thank you very much. America. And again, look at the what you call before the flop on the
this thing is beautiful.
Wow, that is well done.
Yes, it is.
With a camel leather interior.
Nice.
And I'm assuming a small block Chevy.
Well, it's yellow, so it's right in your
everything.
wheelhouse.
Yellow? You call that yellow? I'd call that orange. Oh, here we go. With the old Chevy truck, and don't get me going on the year. I don't know years of Chevy trucks. And look at the air cleaner on it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a 49. She's so fine, my 49.
There you go.
454. That air cleaner is an air cleaner that was used, I believe, by Cadillac and by Buick way back in the early 60s.
The Buick Wildcat engine, I think.
The first induction, yeah.
And highly customized. You can tell by looking at it, as well as the power brakes and stuff, and the interior. Oh, okay. So he's got a little flip up there in the back for. I'm assuming that's to show off the suspension. But again, you go back to these. Some of these trucks were probably pulled off of somebody's farm somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
And turned into a custom truck, and that is beautiful.
You can't go to the 49 Ford showroom.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to go right back down there to Woody's Waterfront Car Show at the Topwater Grill in San Leon, Texas, right after this.